Well, hey everybody, I have finally done it. I have graduated with my master's degree. That means I'm free to make more YouTube videos. Woo! But no, I'm actually here today to talk to you about some Blu-rays that I got. I actually graduated this last Friday. I was actually supposed to go to an academic conference on Saturday, 6 hours away from my graduation. I graduated at 5 o'clock that night, and what happened is my friend and I, we graduated, and as soon as we got done with the master's ceremony, they were going to switch to the undergrad ceremony, and him and I walked out. It looked like we were protesting the graduation. We were not. We wanted to get to Illinois, and we drove there and got there about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then we presented our papers. We had academic papers, we had an academic conference, and we presented our papers. But while I was up there, I actually got a few things, and by a few things I mean quite a few things. Some of these are actually I got from my mail that when I came back from Illinois that I picked up, but some of them I actually got in Illinois and also St. Louis as I was coming back down. So what were they? Let's just talk about some of the things that I got. Alright, so let's start off from, I want to say Disc Replay. I had never been there. Up in Illinois I got two things. One, the first is being Foxcatcher. You got early Steve Carell, who just has a lot of makeup on here. You have Mark Ruffalo, and you also have Channing Tatum. I have not seen this movie yet. It's a Sony Pictures classic, which I love, and I was actually kind of turned off by this movie in a little bit based on the previews. I didn't really like the way it looked, but it was $3.99, and I'm going to have to try to figure out a way to get this off. Anyone knows a particular way to get that thing off, let me know down in the comments below, because I would love it. We got 42, the Jackie Robinson story. We got Chadwick Boseman as Jackie Robinson. So I love baseball. My dad actually is a huge baseball fan, and I'm not the biggest fan of baseball really, but I do appreciate the sport, and I really love the fans as well. So I really cannot wait to watch this movie, and I love movies, you know. Alright, a few things I got up at the Best Buy up there, so nothing too special, it's just the Best Buy. But I got Pride and Prejudice. I actually haven't opened it up yet. This is directed by, why can't I think of his name? Joe Wright, yes, the one who directed Darkest Hour. And so he's also directed a few other movies that I enjoy that I can't think of at the moment, but I've actually heard good things about this, and yeah, I know, I'm a male. I'm going to still watch Pride and Prejudice. I've heard it's a good story, and it's a good remake, so I can't wait to watch this movie. Next is something that I already have, but I did not have the collector's edition, and that is The Thing. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 10. I actually have a poster right behind this camera of this very thing. The very thing. So yeah, this is a collector's edition, so it's the Scream Factory. You have the two discs with the special features and the film itself, and it even has the alternative cover. I actually like that alternative cover quite a bit, but I actually like the original cover the most, so that's why I inverted it. So I'm really looking forward to watching all the special features, because this movie was groundbreaking with its practical effects and just storytelling, and John Carpenter's awesome, and I just love this, and it took me a while to get this because I don't want to spend 20 bucks, so I got it on sale for 14, so I think that's a good deal. And most of these movies I got on sale for a really good price. Alright, so back when I was in St. Louis, as I was coming down, we actually stopped by a few places, my friend and I, and the first place we stopped at was a record store, which we didn't get anything, but then we went to Half Price Books, because I usually know they have something. Attack the Block. I actually know really hardly anything about this, but I know this is kind of where you see a certain character from Star Wars, Finn, get his debut, and so I really honestly cannot wait to watch this movie. John Boyega, I like him in a few things, so I've heard really good things about this movie, and it's fun, and it was on sale, and it's half price from what it normally is. Another movie that I've seen, actually, is Another Earth, and I've seen this with a friend. She brought it over, and it's apparently hard to find Blu-ray, and this movie's pretty good, and I actually like the twist and the things that go on in this movie. It's a really cool sci-fi, original kind of sci-fi movie that I really enjoyed. I need to really watch it again to kind of get my full appreciation of the movie, but I got this on sale, and it was there at Half Price Books, so I was happy to get that. Alright, next is a classic that I have yet to see. Yes, True Grit. The original True Grit with John Wayne and Glenn Campbell and Kim Darby. I cannot wait to see this movie. This is a steelbook right here, so it's a nice steelbook. I actually got the remake of True Grit a couple of weeks ago as well with Matt Damon, and why can't I think of his name? It's gonna drive me nuts. Thanos, Josh Brolin, and you also have Jeff Bridges. So I can't wait to watch the original and the remake, so I'm going to get into some westerns. Another classic is The Wanderers, which actually is from the 50s, I want to say. Don't quote me. Ha! 1979. I'm an idiot. But this movie is pretty much just about cruising, and it's just a bunch of, it's just a bunch of guys cruising. I haven't seen it, but I've heard really good things about this movie, and it's kind of a classic movie from 1979. So it's on Kino Lorber, and so those movies usually are around $20. So this was around $15, and so I got about a $5 cut from that. So it was good. So I can't wait to watch that movie. Next is a classic horror movie, in my opinion, because I grew up with this kind of stuff right around 1997, 96. Yep. When this came out, I was about 4, but I didn't watch it until maybe early teenager years, and I really love this movie. I actually like this movie a lot. In fact, I remember watching Scary Movie, which is kind of making fun of Scream. But it's a really good movie, and I actually like some of the Scream series, and I needed the first one, so I can't wait to revisit this again, probably in October, when that's probably more due. But yeah, Scream. It's a good movie. The first one is really, really good. Alright, next is a movie called Jerry Maguire. Tom Cruise. Is a classic Tom Cruise movie that I've never seen, so I really couldn't tell you much about it. But it's just he's a sports agent. I know he's talking about money in this movie. Show me the money. I want to say that's from this. Don't quote me on that. My brain's fried from the weekend. Alright, so let's transition to a couple things that I got maybe about a week ago that I really want to show you that I got in here locally in Springfield. So the first one being Adventures of Robin Hood. This is from 1938. I could have talked about this movie and watched this movie back when I was talking about the 1930s, but I didn't, and I haven't seen it yet. But I'm really looking forward to this. Errol Flynn, he's got that really awesome smile. Olivia de Valent, I want to say. I think she's in Gone with the Wind as well. And so I'm really looking forward to this movie. This is probably one of the good Robin Hood movies to watch, and it's going to be fun. I'm sure it's going to be a little hokey, but that's perfectly fine. I like those things. All right, next is a Steven Spielberg classic, AI, Artificial Intelligence, with Haley Joel Osment and Jude Law. I have never seen this movie, actually. I've been told it's a really great movie, and a lot of people I know love this movie. And I know this originally was going to be a project from Stanley Kubrick. So that's an interesting prospect, and I'm really looking forward to seeing at least Steven's vision of this whole thing, and maybe them in the special features talking a little bit about Stanley's vision as well, but I doubt that. So I can't wait to see AI and look at Haley Joel Osment back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and when he was all famous. Now no one hears of him. All right, next is a Australian movie, I want to say, called The Guest. Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I've heard it's really good, a little bit bloody, and it's a fun kind of a thriller movie. So it's been on my list for quite some time, but I just hadn't had around the time to got it, so I finally got it, and I can't wait to see that movie. Alright, next is a movie I'm probably going to say incorrectly. Ondine? I don't know. But this is a movie with Colin Farrell and Nella Jordan, and this is actually a movie I have never heard of, and I was just browsing through the store, and I looked at it, and it said Magnolia on the side, and I like Magnolia pictures for the most part. And I read it, and I was like, this sounds a little interesting to me, and I know it's kind of a romantic film, and I'm starting to like those movies a lot more. And so, honestly, I've heard some mixed things based on the results that I Googled, that it's a good movie, but it has some slow pacing issues, but for the most part, it's overall a good movie. So, for about $5, and I think it's pretty expensive on Amazon. For $5, it's a much better deal. So I got Ondine. Don't know. Probably saying it wrong. Yes, I know. Okay, so next we're going to move on to Criterion that I got, 3 Outlaw Samurai. This is a movie by Hideo Gosha, I want to say, from 1964, so it's kind of in that classic period right outside of some of the other Japanese directors that you see with Ozu and Kurosawa. But I really wanted, I saw this, it was on sale. Anything Criterion I'm usually interested in. But anyway, I can't wait to see this movie and check it out and tell you about it. Alright, so let's move on to some of the movies that I got when I arrived home and got some packages. First one being Alfred Hitchcock classic, Strangers on a Train. This is one of the few Alfred Hitchcock movies I haven't seen. When I say few, I probably have only seen half, because a lot of them aren't available on Blu-ray or whatnot. But I can't wait to see this movie, and it's got a really all-star cast here, and I cannot wait to see this movie and see, obviously, the classic thriller that Hitchcock movies come with. So let's actually move on to another Hitchcock movie that I have not seen, and that is North by Northwest, one of his more classic movies, right around the time of Psycho and Vertigo. And so I cannot wait to see this movie with Cary Grant, and another classic Hitchcock movie that I have not seen yet, which is crazy. Alright, so let's move on to Orson Welles' movie around the same time with Charlton Heston and Janet Leigh, and it's called Touch of Evil. And this is a classic movie that I don't really know much about either, and so, but it's on my list, and I like checking out things on my list because it's a good price. Let's move to a more modern film, and that is The Brothers Bloom with Adrian Brody, Rachel Weisz, and also Mark Ruffalo. I've heard really good things about this, and I've actually ran into a few channels that talked about this movie, and that's actually what got it on my radar. It's kind of just, it's a movie that I really don't know much about, and it's going to have a little bit of charm to it, I think, and that's what I'm looking for in this movie, but otherwise I'm probably going to enjoy it. Alright, so the last two movies are Criterions that are going to probably be on this next end of month when I go from 1940 to 1950. These are some of the movies that I want to at least watch and have possibly be on my list. The first one being The Red Shoes. And I don't really know much about this, but I've heard how iconic this movie is, and I cannot wait to see this movie. The second being His Girl Friday with Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell. And we also have another movie that comes with it, The Front Page, which it says right here on the front page, But I can't wait to see this movie from 1940 and 1948. I can't wait to explore these movies, and I cannot wait to explore all these movies. And I want to hear your thoughts down below on all this stuff. Any of these movies, any ones I should check out, any things in the collection. Do I have too much now? Probably. But it'll never be quenched. Alright, thank you so much. It's probably a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but thank you so much and being so patient for me to finally graduate, and I can finally make more videos, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Don't forget to give this video a like, comment down below, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.